वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Let us offer our salutations to Lord Krishna, the embodiment of bliss, who came to establish dharma and punish the wicked. Let us pray to him to lead us from unreal to real, to lead us from darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita. The verse number 12 we are studying, which I am continuing in this class also. Yuktaha karma phalam tyaktva shantimapnoti naishtikim ayukta kamakarena paresakto nibajjate. A selfless one, forsaking the fruit of action, attains peace, born of steadfastness. But the one who is not selfless and who is led by desire is attached to the fruit and therefore bound. So the beauty of becoming selfless is that you will be free from the shackles of desires. Desires are the cause of miseries and sufferings. And by practicing yoga, being steadfast, one attains peace, tremendous peace. Desirelessness is the final for attaining the permanent peace. So, most important point that we have to remember in this verse is steadfastness. It is most essential spiritual quality that every one of us should focus on developing it. One devotee asked a question to Swami Ramakrishna Math, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Sir, what is meant in the Gita by steadfastness in devotion? Swami Ramakrishna answers him in a very clear way. Steadfastness in devotion means that though you may be busy with many things, still your mind is always turned towards God. You may not feel the same ardor always, but so long as the hunger for devotion to God is there, you are steady in the devotion. It should be like the needle of the compass. The needle may swing a little to this side or that, but it always has a tendency to point back to true north. So long as the hunger for devotion to God is there, a person is steady in devotion. Another direct disciple, Swami Chidananda ji, he said to a devotee, You complain that thoughts of duty sometimes intrude when you sit for meditation. Swamiji says, all minds are in the same predicament. Don't think your mind is special in this respect. Everybody's mind is like that only. You can't escape this even if you leave work and retire to a forest. But if through God's grace it becomes firmly impressed on your mind, the world is impermanent. And if the idea that God alone is your true goal takes a grip on your heart, then this kind of unsteadiness of the mind will be greatly eliminated. Unsteadiness of the mind is mainly because of inbuilt force of the tendencies which are hard to get rid of. It's too difficult. To give an example, in our own ashrama, we had two monastic members. One is monastic member, another is non-monastic resident. Bapare, what they were doing? The non-monastic resident who stayed here more than 10 or 12 years. He was there even before I came to Chicago, ashram. His way of doing things, he would go for shopping for the ashram. And whenever he would come back, lots of plastic bags he would bring. And all those plastic bags he used to store in his room. And plenty of eatables. People every day give this, that, etc. And he would keep, probably not to eat sometime later, he would keep them holding in the room. Added to that, newspapers. All the old newspapers were being stocked in his room. It was a dwelling room, big room. It actually 2 people can stay in that room, 2-bedroom size. One day I happened to go to that floor where that blessed gentleman was staying. I was shocked to see that person was not sleeping in the room at all, and he was sleeping in the lobby there. Every floor had a lobby. I was curious. Why? What happened to your room? Are you not sleeping in the room? He was very shameful to tell any answer. He simply smiled, thinking that I may drop the matter and take it lightly and I may go. But I did not do that. I persisted. Well, in the lobby he was sleeping. There in the lobby also, lots of things around his sleeping bed. Unbearable sight. When I asked him to open the door, I want to see. When I saw, I was literally shocked. The whole room was full of junk. Living room, where he used to dwell. It was not simply filling the junk. Up to what extent? It was touching the roof of the room. You cannot walk there inside. Trash bags were to be purchased in order to load those junks. The whole kitchen area was full of this 20, 30 plastic bags full of this stuff. And it was so difficult for him to stop that habit. Wherever he would go outside, When he comes back, something would go into his room. Bottles, hundreds of bottles, hundreds and thousands of bottles, empty bottles. This is about non-monastic resident I am talking about. There was one monastic Swamiji. It's not, I am not complaining, I am only telling how the tendencies destroy your mental makeup. And this monastic member, he would fill there was a storeroom near the basement, full of junk. Every day he would go, wash the trash bag and put his hand down to it, and he would bring, every day he must bring, he would go twice he would bring some plastic bag full of things, and he would load that room. It's a big room. Again it was eyesore. I could not doubt it. I had to hire a truck to unload all those things. You had to pay $1,000, you must know, for clearing the junk from the room. And I told that Swami, you have to pay $1,000. The devotees have paid $1,000 for that. So, up to the last, he was doing that. Because recently he passed away. Even before his passing away, he would go out for street walking. He would come with hands full of bags. He could not lift even. He fell down and he was bedridden. 2 times he got that. And one time he thrusted his head into the trash can and he passed out. Some passers-by told, inform us, Swamiji, this particular Swami is here. He is staying, his neck is in the trash can. Since 20 minutes I am watching, he is not able to get up at all. What's the matter? I had to rush, call for the ambulance. I am telling you, it's not the complaint. Please don't mistake. I am not complaining against any of our monastic. It's not complaint. What I am trying to impress upon you is how you built up your samskaras. That is your personality. If you build good samskaras, you will be an excellent person. If you do commit bad things, and actually you become bad, that is, you will not be able to manifest any good qualities in your life. So one must be really, really very, very careful in formatting samskaras. We come to the subject later on. That's a very important subject actually. So, when you sit down for meditation, Swami Chidananda suggested, first think in this way: it is my own chosen deity who, like an eternally pure and indivisible ocean of existence, knowledge, bliss, pervades everything, and I also exist within him. It is he who exists everywhere, inside and outside myself. Thinking on this idea for a while, start your japa and meditation as usual. This will remove the unsteadiness of the mind. But please note the point, very important point that every one of us should note, and that is, you must become aware of the unsteadiness of the mind. If you are not aware, if you think you are okay, then nobody can do anything. So that awareness should come. You must become aware of your status of your mind. How is your mind functioning? Is it functioning friendly, or is it dragging you away from the spiritual idea? You have to keep on watching. That's the way. So if the mind continues to be unsteady, pray to the Lord. O Lord, kindly make my mind steady. Know this for certain, that He hears whatever you say and knows whatever passes in your mind. If you can chant the name of the Lord with a steadfast mind and meditate on His blissful form, you need not bother about anything else. If your mind is unsteady and you can't fix it on the Lord, pray to Him with a yearning heart. O Lord, I have no one in the world. You alone are my own. Please make my mind steady, for I cannot do it myself. Helpless as I am, I take shelter at your feet. Lord Krishna also tells Arjuna, take shelter in me, take refuge in me, dedicate the whole of your being to me, and be peaceful. I take care of everything else. So that act of self-surrender must be done. Without that, you can't expect the result to come. If you remain steadfast in your path, entertaining no prejudice against other faiths, and hold fast to the truth in all circumstances, then the Divine Mother will come and guide you. For that, however, you have to exercise self-restraint and undo bad things, and you should undertake mental training. The training means to be pure in body, to be non-covetous, not to accept gifts from anyone. These are some disciplines meant for the novices. The idea of not receiving the gift is that once you try to receive gifts, you become obliged. So unknowingly you will be showing some favors to that person who has gifted you so much. That's the nature of the world. You should keep up the practice of doing Japan meditation regularly every day. That helps the mind to become steady gradually. The steadiness of mind is a gradual step. It takes time. Let it take time. My duty is only to do my action properly. There it ends. Mahapaleshu kadachana. That's all about verse number 12. Now we shall go to next verse. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi neva kurvan akaryan. Verse number 13. Mentally renouncing all actions and self-controlled, the embodied one rests happily in the 9-gated city, neither acting nor causing others, that is body and senses, to act. That means he holds on to the witness stand. He observes everything that is going on in his body-mind complex. So, renouncing all actions mentally, that means all actions nitya are obligatory, the performance of which does not produce any merit, while the non-performance produces demerit. Eating, sleeping, bathing, etc. Second one is naimittika karma, those arising on the occurrence of some special events such as the birth of a son, or some important days as Shivratri, Ekadashi and eclipse. Third is Kamya Karma, those intended for securing some special ends. These are only optional. Then comes Nishiddha, forbidden activities that run counter to ethics. So the person rests happily in the body of 9 organic openings, seeing inaction in action, just exhausting his prarabdha, not relating or identifying himself with anything of the dual universe. Now what are these 9 gates? Lord Krishna tells in this verse is 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, mouth, and the 2 organs of excretion and reproduction. These comprise 9 gates, 9 openings. Everyone has got that 9 openings. The yogi who is well established himself in his true self is ever witnessing all activities done through the body and senses. He is free from ego and remains aloof within the 9 gates of his body, experiencing immense peace and joy. Put the fan. I am asking her to put the fan. The point it makes sound. It's all right. So, some several hundreds years ago, there was a yogi who was well established in himself, that is, in his true self, who is ever witnessing all activities done through the body and senses. He would feel he was free from ego and remains aloof with the 9 gates of his body, experiencing immense peace and joy. So, there was a very famous yogi, Jnani. His name was Sadashiva Brahmendra Saraswati, a very great saint of Andhra Pradesh. He is the author of Brahma Sutra Vritti and Atma Vidya Vidalasa and various other books. He has composed many songs also. Some of the songs I sing also in the bhajan. Sthirata Nahi Nahi Re, Chinta Nasti Teshankila, etc. Beautiful songs. Now, he was a great yogi, full of miraculous powers. And these powers was not distracting him. Rather, he would use these siddhis to help the people in suffering. Helping the humanity, that was his goal. No other purpose. Once when he was absorbed in samadhi on the banks of the Kaveri, he was carried away by the flood and thrown somewhere else. But he was in samadhi. He is not aware of any such thing, what is going on. So, because he was carried away by the current, he was deeply buried underneath the sand. Later on, workers went to plough the fields. They hit against the head of the yogi and some blood oozed out. They were surprised. They dug out, and to their astonishment they found the yogi seated in samadhi. Still he was in samadhi state. Total absorption. On another occasion, Sadashiva Brahmendra he was considered as Avadhuta. He was totally unaware of his body, mind. He was not, his system was not focused on external things. And he would wear only loin cloths. So in a way, he was almost naked. Once it so happened, while he was walking along, there was a Mohammedan king who had camped there with all his families and soldiers and so on. And Sadashiva Brahmendra happened to pass through that place. He is not aware that ladies are staying there and so on and so forth. Simply is walking along. But the Mohammedan king, seeing that this person walking naked, of course the loin cloth was there, he became simply very angry. So what he did was, they are brutal. He immediately went and cut off one of the arms of the Mahatma. He's just walking, but this fellow became enraged and began to cut off the one arm of the yogi. But what was the reaction from the yogi? He never uttered, he never expressed any reaction. Not only that, he never expressed anger also, never uttered a word. Not only that, he never showed any signs of pain. And the Mohammedan king, he was totally surprised. He could not believe, what is this? So he thought that this man must be a Mahatma. So he repented much for his action and followed this sage just to offer his apologies for his inhuman act of cutting the arm. But the funny part is, Sadashiva Brahmendra even never knew that his arm was cut off. When the Mohammedan king narrated to the sage what happened in the camp, Sadashiva excused the Mohammedan king and simply touched his maimed arm. Immediately he got a fresh arm in the place. It is the life of this sage that made a very deep impression in the mind of people. They came to a very definite conclusion that there is a sublime divine life independent of objects and the play of the mind and the senses. The sage was quite unconscious of the world. He did not feel a bit when his arm was cut off. He ought to have been absorbed in the divine consciousness. He ought to have been one with the divine. Ordinary people will cry when there is even a pinprick in their bodies. It is well established, the fact that the divine existence and the divine eternal life were all sorrows melt, where all the sorrows melt, where all the desires are satisfied, and one gets supreme bliss, supreme peace and supreme knowledge. And Sadashiva Brahmendra lived like that and showed to the people that practicing spirituality in a proper way, one can definitely free himself even in this mortal body. That's what Shankaracharya also says, Jivan Mukti, liberated while living. We don't know what will happen after death. There is a kind of liberation after death also. It's called Videha Mukti. But the more certain is, if you are liberated while living, there's a greater achievement. Anyway, so how Sadashiva Brahmendra totally detached himself from the function of the body-mind system. They were all operating, no doubt, but he did not involve himself in any activities of the system. Verse number 14, Nakartrutvam nakarmani lokasya sriti prabhu na karma phal samyogam svabhavastu pravartate. This is also the most important verse. Neither agency nor actions does the Lord create for the world, nor union with the fruits of actions. It is nature that acts. Nature that acts. Svabhavastu pravartate. The most important phrase in this verse. We are all behaving according to our established nature. So we have established nature in a particular pattern, and so we behave. So it is very important how you formate your nature. That's the important message that this verse tries to give us. The sovereign self does not create any agency or actions or any communication with fruits of action. But it is in nature that acts. Here, one point you should remember. From one standpoint of view, everything is the will of God. Nothing happens without the will of God. There is one stand. There is one level of thinking. Another level is this. Nature acts. It is a divine Maya made up of gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, that acts. People act according to their samskaras formatted in their previous births. They are bloated by their ego that they are the doers and consequently reap the fruits of their deeds. In whatever way they have sown the seeds, reap the fruits accordingly. He who has sown the seed of a mango fruit enjoys the sweet taste of the fruit. But one who has sown the seed of a neem fruit tastes only the bitterness. One who has bad samskaras commits evil deeds and suffers unhappiness and misery. Whereas the one who has inherited good samskaras does good and noble deeds and consequently enjoys happiness in life. In spite of it, by the use of strong willpower, he can change his nature and create impressive good samskaras. That power also is in every one of us. By repeatedly doing evil deeds, he has made himself bad. Even so, by repeatedly, willingly and sincerely doing good deeds, one can really be transformed into a good person. So, everyone is a maker of one's own destiny. It's the most important statement. Swami Vivekananda also has mentioned this in his works. For the upliftment or downfall lies in one's own formatting of samskaras. Formatting of samskaras. Each life is meant for reforming the samskaras, refining it. So it is through right formatting of samskaras one can pave the way for liberation. So, we should not give scope to the evil qualities of desire, anger and greed. They are like gateways to hell. Ravan, the famous character in the Ramayana, was highly educated and powerful, but he ruined his entire clan and kingdom as he became a victim of kama, passion. Hiranyakashipu, he symbolized anger and ultimately ruined himself. Coming to Mahabharata, Duryodhana, he was greed personified, and he too suffered the same fate as that of Ravana and Hiranyakashipu. We may have immense knowledge, wealth and valor, but we are bound to suffer if we become a slave to anger, desire and greed. We should not take pride in our wealth, physical strength and education. We should develop the strength of love. Love can transform even an enemy into a friend. Only through love can our life be redeemed. There is another character, Shakuni, in Mahabharata. He was the prince of Gandhara. He was the son of Raja Subal. He had a sister named Gandhari, who was married to Dhritarashtra of Hastinapur. In fact, he was very angry with Bhishma because Bhishma came to propose for Gandhari for his blind nephew. So, he always used to say, how could he think of my beautiful sister to marry a blind man? Bhishma used to love Pandavas more because they were good-natured, well-behaved and polite, while Duryodhana, Gandhari's son, always thought of some or other mischief to trouble others. So, Shakuni became so much involved with Duryodhana, and he wanted that Duryodhana should become the king of the Hastinapur. Anyway, Shakuni came to live with Duryodhana. He came to live with his sister Gandhari. He was a very scheming person. His projects projected his evil nature throughout his life. He was the mastermind of all the events of Mahabharata. He always instigated Duryodhana to trouble Pandav. From the beginning, in the very childhood, Shakuni suggested Duryodhana to give poison to Bhima mixed with sweets to kill him. But fortunately, he came back alive with more powers. Secondly, when princess grew up and Yudhishthira was declared the crown prince, Shakuni suggested Duryodhana to burn all Pandavas in a Lakshagraha, a house made of highly inflammable things, specially built for them in Varanasi, in Varnavata. But fortunately or unfortunately, with the advice and guidance and help of Vidur, the Pandavas were able to escape from it safely and securely, leaving behind a proof unknowingly that they all died in that fire. Third event, Shakuni's next mischief was to suggest Duryodhana to invite Yudhishthira to play a dice game, to defeat him cunningly, and to take everything of him, including Draupadi. But again, unfortunately, this game brought Duryodhana upside down, and Draupadi succeeded in getting everything back. But Shakuni's brain did not stop here. He again asked Duryodhana to play the dice game with Pandava once more. Duryodhana did that. This time he succeeded, and Pandavas have to go to one for 13 years, including 1 year of Ajnatavas. In this year they were supposed to live in this society without being recognized. Even when Pandavas were living in forest, Shakuni was not silent. Once Durvas Maharshi came to Hastinapur with his disciples. They all honored him greatly. He got very pleased with their hospitality. Now suddenly Shakuni got an idea. He sent Durvas Maharshi to Pandava saying, since Duryodhana's elder brother is not here, if you could bless him in the forest, he would be very happy. You must go there in the afternoon. But Shakuni's mind was crooked. Anyway, Durvas Maharshi readily accepted his offer and went from there. Now Durvas Rishi arrived there in the afternoon and said to Yudhishthira, we are going to take bath in the river. When we come back, we will have food with you. Yudhishthira said, as you wish. Now he was very worried because Draupadi had eaten her food and the Akshay Patra, the divine part, was empty. How could he offer food to so many people? Durvas had come with hundreds of disciples. So he came to this ashrama and told everything to Draupadi. And Draupadi also was equally worried. Now she remembered Krishna. Oh Krishna, please help us. As soon as she tried to remember Shri Krishna, he was on the door asking for food. He himself came and asked for food. Draupadi told him that the pot is empty. Still Krishna insisted her to bring her pot. When she brought it, Lord Krishna found a leaf of greens. He ate it. And what did he do? He said, let all the beings of the world be satisfied with this food. He made this statement. So, this had a tremendous effect. At the same time, Durvas Maharshi and his disciples, who had finished their bath, they felt their stomach was full. They were satisfied. So, they had no face to come to Yudhishthira to ask for food. So they did not come at all. They returned from the river itself to their place. They never came back to Pandavas. Thus Lord Krishna saved Yudhishthira from his anger. During the same period, Duryodhana, Karan, Shakuni and Dushasan went for recreation in this same forest where Pandavas were living and camped near them. Duryodhana had to face embarrassment from Pandavas here also. Indra came to know about this and Duryodhana's intention. So he sent Chitrasena, Gandharva, to pick up a quarrel with him and then to defeat him in the fight. Chitrasena did this for his friend Arjun. When Chitrasena picked up a quarrel with Duryodhana at a trivial issue, Chitrasena arrested him and took him to his camp. In the meantime, his bodyguards rushed to Pandavas for their help to release Duryodhana from Chitrasena. Yudhishthira promptly sent Arjun and Bhim to release him, as he was still their brother in the eyes of others. As Arjun and Bhim came there, Arjun got him released immediately. Duryodhana was so embarrassed, he could not sleep for nights together because of this incident. After that, Shakuni had no way to bring Pandavas lower than that, so they had to declare war. Finally, Shakuni got killed by Sahadeva in the war. See how from the beginning to end, because of his evil tendencies, Svabhavastu pravartate. Shakuni could not behave otherwise. Would always behave in a crooked way. Always creating some trouble, some problem. So, Sri Krishna's message is that we should really be careful in establishing our nature. That requires education, that requires training, that requires discipline, that requires holy association. All these are important. Well, we have to do that. Then only we can really enjoy peace and happiness in this life. Let us continue next. So try to attend these retreats and enrich yourself, format yourself in a proper way, and rise up from human level to divine level. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu Bhavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. May the Lord protect us, may He nourish us, may our knowledge be fruitful and enlightened. May we not treat each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.